Hey everyone, it's Tyler. I'm so excited to be doing another video for you guys today. And today's video is about the importance of your time, forming good habits, and eliminating distractions. I could talk about each one of these for hours, but I just want to share a couple of quick thoughts about each one with you guys today. So let's dive right in. Your time is the most important and most valuable currency that you have in your possession, regardless of income, regardless of how much your hourly rate or how much your annual rate of income is, and that how that changes over time. That still does not affect that to you. Your most valuable resource is your time. Time is a resource that we are all given equally from the day that we are born, and for every second that we are on this planet, we all have 24 hours in a day. However, the way that those 24 hours are used differ vastly and greatly from person to person. One commonality that you will find among people who have worked hard to obtain wealth is that they are more serious about budgeting and protecting their time than they often are their money. And it's because they understand that time is a resource or a currency that once it's spent, there are no refunds. When we work and we spend our money, we continue to work and that money comes back. We get a paycheck every 2 weeks, every month. We make X amount an hour. We make X amount a year. If we buy something that we just don't like or doesn't work, a lot of times we can return it and get our money back. So that decision ultimately doesn't have monetary consequences. But time is a currency that once it's spent, you cannot get it back. You can only spend every second, every minute, and every hour that you're given once. And I hope that the reality of that will kind of set in and just help you understand how valuable you are and how valuable your time is to you before even anything else. So many of us that work hard for our money, we put in our blood, sweat, and tears into what we do. We budget to protect our finances, and we need to have the same attitude about our time and honestly budget our time and be aware, just like we're aware of every dollar that comes into our bank account and where it goes out to. Also be aware of where every hour of our time goes out to as well. And so now I want to talk about forming habits and eliminating distractions, which come full circle back to giving us back more of our time, which we can then use intentionally towards productive things, whether that's our own personal growth, investing in our family, working a little bit harder or a little bit more, or being able to invest more time building our business or whatever. Good habits and eliminating distractions yield more time, which is the most valuable currency for us to create more of. Forming good habits. Here's my 2 cents. Here's my nuggets of wisdom from my experience and the things that I've been through. Don't try to wake up 4 hours earlier tomorrow and exercise in the morning and the evening and have a day with every single thing that you want to change in your life all at once, because that's going to lead to just an overwhelming amount of change that you don't have the framework for and that you haven't developed step by step. I would focus on identifying some micro habits that you want to incorporate, and every few days or every week, just bring in one small change time and time again, week in and week out. And over time, you'll really start to see the impact that it's having without the pain or just the overwhelming sense of trying to do too much at one time. I like to think about an airliner or a space shuttle when it's in flight. It's constantly making small corrections and small adjustments. So even after all the work that it takes for the shuttle to lift off the ground, all the megatons to the infinite power of thrust to get out of the atmosphere, and for a plane, all that the engines have to do to get moving and get up off the runway and in the air and to altitude, and for a space shuttle to get into space. But even when they're on the journey and they've gotten the hardest part out of the way, they always make small corrections to stay right on course to their destination. So I don't think that's ever going to change. You're always going to be incorporating new things. But even in the beginning, this is a great way to get started without backing yourself into a corner and taking on too much, is to just think about things on a pretty micro level and start incorporating them one by one. If you want to start working out, just go to the gym a couple days this week. Go and have an upper body day. You're going to be sore for 3 or 4 days. And so after you've gotten a couple of the worst days behind you, go and have a lower body day and do it again the next week and do it again the next week. And pretty soon you'll be able to not only push through the pain, because after the first few workouts for your upper body and lower body and those muscle groups, it's not going to hurt as bad, and then you can incorporate a 3rd day and a 4th day. But if you just try to dive into going to the gym 6 days a week from nothing, it just becomes too much and it makes people quit. If you want to start eating healthier, but you're like me and you could eat a cheeseburger and fries for every meal, pizza for every meal, steak for every meal, and all the stuff that is so awesome taste-wise and so horrible for you, just go get some healthy groceries this week and have a salad with your meals and just start easing into healthier habits. Incorporate juicing. Go get some plant protein powder and start having a smoothie each day. Just start putting some healthy stuff in your body and make the mental decision that, yes, I want to move towards eating healthy, but just start incorporating it rather than trying to just throw everything in your fridge away. Yes, that's effective. If you have that kind of dedication, do it. I am not saying don't make changes as fast as possible and as big as possible. But what I want to encourage, where I see so many people just get hung up, is just trying to change too much at once. And so that's really what I'm speaking to here. And as you do this, what you'll find is once you make a few changes, it's going to get easier to make more changes and bigger changes. Once you start eating healthier food, after a few weeks, it might be easier to throw some things out of your pantry and your fridge. Once you start working out a couple of days a week, it might be a lot easier to incorporate 2 more quickly. Once you start just the process of forming habits, you get some momentum when you get some habits behind you that help you incorporate things faster, because your mindset just changes. Your mindset starts to latch on to the goals that you have and get to them sooner, because you've already achieved some goals behind you, and you want to do that more quickly. And so it really has momentum. And then there's synergy, because good habits lead to good habits. Eating healthier makes you feel better. Working out makes you feel better. Growth in your business makes you feel better. And all those things fuel one another. So you get momentum and synergy by simply starting small. So much of success starts with small. Remember, what you see of the successful people that you follow, respect, and admire is always the tip of the iceberg. And there's always 80-90% under the surface that you don't see. And I guarantee you that so much of it is just micro habits and all of the stuff that I'm talking about today. Just being very cognizant of their time, spending their time effectively, and forming habits to help do that. What I love about success is so often the keys are not hard to grasp. They're not concepts that only intelligent people can grasp. They're not difficult things. Often the keys to success are some of the most simple things done with discipline and tenacity and consistency, until all of a sudden you look up and realize that your life is in a much better place than it was a year ago or a month ago or 6 months ago. And so go out there and make a few small changes, because they can have such a big impact on your life. And lastly, eliminating distractions. And I have the same approach to this as I do habits. Don't try to cut hours out of your day. Just find a few small things that you can be intentional, that you know just suck up a little bit of time. For me, it's very simple things, nothing groundbreaking. It's things like just staying in my Facebook news feed for too long. I love to check out, see what's going on, but then there's a point where I'm just scrolling like a zombie. Just do the exact same thing you do to form habits to eliminate distractions. Micro steps. Find small 5, 10, 15-minute things that you can just start to cut out. And honestly, if you're really wanting to dive in hard, just cut off TV entirely for a while, and then when you bring it back in, you may find that you bring it back in more intentionally, and that you only watch an episode or two of a show at night after everything else is done, rather than a couple of hours or more. And even just gaining back an hour or two of your time in a day is massive. It's from the numbers that I shared in the first video that I did this week. If you work for yourself 1 hour a day, every day for a year, which is 365 days in a year, so it's 365 hours. A full-time work week is 40 hours. That is just over 9 full-time weeks that you'll work for yourself. Some of you, after you get off work, instead of going to the bar and happy hour and hanging out for a couple of hours, you need to go to the coffee shop and spend that hour or two writing a blog post. And after a few months of doing that, that's 100, 200 blog posts, and that could produce income back to your life. So now you're investing your time in something that's an asset. An asset is anything that you spend time or money on, anything that you invest in that will ultimately bring cash flow back to you. So I truly believe that between forming habits and eliminating distractions and just focusing on the small micro steps, that between the time that you get off of work and the time that you go to bed, just between TV or something social, that you could find an hour to invest wholeheartedly in something that's more of an asset, could have huge benefits and huge implications on your life here forward. And if you guys are looking for something specifically to make more money, I've got a great offer right now. It's a course from one of my best friends from childhood, Greg Jeffries. It's an incredible course. It's had a huge impact on lots of people, and I've got a coaching offer to accompany that right now. So the link in the description below is specifically for that. But whether you're just wanting to get in better shape, eat healthier, do something to bring more finances into your life, spend more time with your family, your friends, whatever it is. I hope this video has been helpful today in just sharing some simple steps to make small changes in your life that can have such a big impact. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this, and so I'll see you guys in the next one.